Now, I recently mentioned an interactive fiction framework that I've been developing, first for Java, but now also for C#. This is the Java version. So you can see I'm in a room and I've got a box here, but actually there is more than one box. So if I take the box, or try to take the box, it says, which do I want to take, the big wooden box or the small cardboard box? I make my choice. Okay, so I've taken the small cardboard box from the big wooden box. So in order to distinguish between those two boxes, I've had to use adjectives, small cardboard or big wooden. And that's something that you'll find in the traditional adventure games, such as Zork, games from the 70s and 80s, the ability to distinguish between objects by using descriptive words such as big, wooden, golden, elvish, etc. Let me turn now to the C# code. I've released this beta version of the C# code. You can already download it from the Bitwise Books website. It's not yet complete. So follow this series of videos and I'll let you know when I add extra features to it. I just really want to give you a quick overview of how my extended parser works. This is based on the code that I wrote for the little book of adventure game programming in C#, and it's an extension of the code from that book. So I'm not going to describe everything that's described in that book. I just want to point you towards the essential new features. Now, previously, in my previous version, as described in the book, when a command is entered, it's divided up into a list of strings, and then it's categorized as a word and type. Well, a word and type is a class I've written here, and it just contains a string, a word, and another thing called a WT, which is a word type. WT.cs is an enum, and that just enumerates the grammatical types of the word. So if you entered take, that would be a verb. If you entered sword, that would be a noun, and so on. The problem is it didn't use adjectives. Now, with adjectives, I have an extra problem because I could have 0 or more adjectives. I could have take box, 0 adjectives, take small box, that's 1 adjective, take small, elvish, gold, glittering box, and so on. So in order to support that, I've had to get a bit cleverer, and what I've done is, you can see up here, now the actual processing methods deal with a list of something called grammar unit. Now you'll find these new classes over here under the grammar namespace, and grammar unit is its own class. So you can have grammar unit objects, but normally I'll be working with descendants. So for example, verb descends from grammar unit, as does noun, and so on. But in fact, noun phrase is what I'm now dealing with rather than a simple noun, because I want to have these multiple adjectives. So noun phrase is a noun plus 0 or more adjectives. And I've got another class in here called sentence analyzer. And in order to parse out my list of single words into these grammar unit types, I've had to call sentence analyzer. I analyze them. I call its constructor with a list of word and type, and then I call this method down here, where is it? Analyze. I call the analyze method to actually create this list of grammar units with verbs and noun phrases and so on, so that when my other methods that need to act upon those lists, and go back to the adventure parser, you can see there's this whole load of methods up here, and they all deal with lists of grammar units. And now they can test, is this a verb, is it a preposition, is it a noun phrase, and so on. As I said before, this is work that's in development. The Java version is currently more complete, but I haven't yet released the Java version for download. I will do soon. The C# version is an extension of the code in my book, and you can download the C# code now When you do so, be absolutely sure to read the readme.txt file, because this is work in development. It's not yet complete. In the current state, it does have this extra parsing ability, but it does not yet distinguish between objects because the objects themselves don't have adjectives associated with them. What I mean by that is you can take the gold elvish sword, and the game will understand it. It will understand those adjectives. But the sword object itself has not yet got the properties, if you like, gold and elvish associated with it. So the game does not distinguish between different types of sword. I'm going to add that later. Be sure to sign up to my mailing list on bitwisebooks.com, and as soon as I've got any extra features in either the C# or the Java versions of the Interactive Fiction Framework, I'll let you know. To learn programming in depth, enroll in one of my courses or read one of my books. More information at bitwisebooks.com.